Hi, I'm Jess. Today we're opening up on Ceremony for enthusiasts, iconoclasts, anarchists, and you. This is probably like the actual fourth attempt. So welcome everybody. This is me introducing my lovely dear friend David, who is an absolute joy. He's hilarious. He's just great company. He's really, really funny, and he's really, really naughty, which is one of my favorite things about you, that you're so mischievous. And he looks like kind of innocuous, like he wouldn't be, but you know yourselves how much we need mischievous people in our lives. And every now and then he'll just really surprise people. Anyway, you seem really mild-mannered and sweet and polite in English, but actually just underneath, well, let's not go into it.
You've got to have a few levels, haven't you? You've got to have all the different.
You definitely have them.
Layers? I don't know.
Yeah, so
all the layers.
David, you're David Holmes, aren't you?
Yes,
I call you David Ashes because, right, and here's why, everyone. This is why I call him David Ashes, because David has businesses which are all about, there's two around ashes, and we'll talk about the second one as we go along. The first is to do with taking the ashes of your people and making them into seed balls so that you can then plant wildflowers with the ashes of your people, your loved ones. And it is absolutely phenomenal. It's taking off like you wouldn't believe. And what we're going to do is ask David to tell his story, how he created it, and then the next thing, which we'll reveal as we go along, which I've only just heard about, which I'm really excited about. David's just all over it. So he's in all kinds of different places, and you will see Ashes to Blooms and Sussex seed balls, which is a bit of a mouthful for me today. And I'm just going to really just ask you, David, to introduce yourself and your businesses, and then we'll talk over the course of this conversation about this brilliant inventive idea. And people love it. Everyone I speak to about it loves it, and it just resonates somehow with our culture. So tell everybody a little bit more about you, etc.
Oh, well, first of all, thank you for having me and for that lovely introduction. And basically, I'm just really glad that this has not worked so many times that I can just sit here and hear you saying lovely things about me. So thank you. So Ashes to Blooms came about just over 2 years ago. I had an incredible companion pet animal, Lucy Rabbit. She was a wild, naughty, mischievous, crazy rabbit who I had from when she was just a tiny baby. And I had her for 12 years. She was my lockdown companion, my partner in crime, and she was just the best fun. When she wanted attention, you knew it. She came to you. She would nibble your sleeve, sit next to you and stare. When she was ready for attention, you knew it, and you delivered the attention. She was a girl who knew what she wanted, and it was incredible. So anyway, after 12 long years of brilliant companionship and friendship, I lost Lucy Rabbit. She'd got arthritis in her legs. I took her to the vet, and we agreed that it was time to let her go. So I took her to the vets, and we agreed to put her to sleep. I was able to be there for her. I had my hand round her head. I was able to kiss her nose. I was stroking her head and kissing her nose as she slipped away. So she knew she was safe. She knew she was loved, and she wasn't scared. And she slipped away. But as soon as it happens, then the vet says to you, so what do we do with the body? So, suddenly it's the body. And I didn't have a garden, and I didn't know what to do with ashes. So I said group cremation, take her body, private cremation. I didn't have a garden. I didn't know the options at that time. So I said, centre for group cremation. I didn't know what else to do. But in the weeks afterwards, sort of, it played on my mind over and over, and I was left sort of online looking at, things I could have done. And, I love nature and everything eco, and I just felt like there was nothing that would have been right for her or for me as the grieving person left behind. And I sort of suddenly had the idea of making seed balls. So sort of balls of compost, natural ingredients, and UK native seeds. So I had the idea of that. And when I looked online, I thought there'd be thousands of companies doing seed balls with ashes. And there was just a total gap, no one doing it. So I felt people like me and anyone who loved their garden, or anyone who's lost someone who loved their garden, it was just the perfect thing. So from there, I've made it my life's work to give people this extra option that just wasn't open to me when I lost Lucy.
And let me tell you, everyone, that he really has dedicated his life to it. If you go to his flat, there's seed balls everywhere and boxes everywhere. It's like you can't move for it. But it's such a passion, isn't it? And you've got to know so many interesting people as a result. And the response has been phenomenal, hasn't it?
Well, yeah, you and I and amazing Gira, our good friend Gira, great friends, totally thanks to seed balls.
That's true.
Seed balls bringing people, oh my God, could this be a new tagline? Seed balls bring people together since 2002. Anyway, I just realised your glasses match your amazing decor. The streamers behind you.
The streamers behind me, for anyone that's interested, are from a brilliant shop in Brighton, the name of which has completely escaped me, and it always does. If I remember it, I'll tell you, but it's a beautiful shop and it sells loads and loads of Indian garlands and things and Day of the Dead banners. And I just wanted some of my brand colours to just pop on the screen.
Perfect.
I can't remember what it's called. It's so annoying. Every single time I forget.
What sort of questioning? So I got distracted by your glasses.
I can't remember.
Oh, yes. Yes. So, like we've discussed briefly a couple of weeks ago, it was the National Funeral Exhibition. And you think, oh, loads of boring people in black suits wandering around like corpses. No, maybe this is a reflection on how boring my life is. It was one of the most fun things I've ever done. I thought it would be very stale and formal.
I did too, to be honest. I was quite surprised when you said it was the most fun thing you'd done. A little bit worried, but hilarious.
Well, people always say that funeral directors or people in the industry sometimes have, quite a dark or colourful or wild sense of humour because of the nature of what they're dealing with. I think in the same way that people who are in emergency services might have that sort of dark sense of humour. And brilliant conversations with interesting, oh my God, especially the celebrants. So much amazing, brightly coloured, wild hair, crazy dresses. mad leather jackets with death phrases on, and I don't know if it if you weren't there, maybe it sounds distasteful, but sort of there was this Day of the Dead sort of tequila brand serving shots out of coffins, and there was this funeral insurance company giving away those squishy relaxation things that people have in offices shaped like coffins. And this company makes these gorgeous bespoke coffin linings. I'm not getting commission for this, but they had a beautiful coffin set up and they were serving pick and mix out of it. and people with these fabulous glittery with this video thing you're doing, I'm really bad with tech. Like we took pictures of things like the purple glittery coffins. Can we have these popping up as we're talking? But anyway, if we can, like the pictures can pop up like that.
For those of you who are listening, we obviously filmed this for YouTube as well. So with regards to the garlands, behind me, I've got bright pink glasses on and a sort of pink and red dress, and then behind me I've got fuchsia and yellow and green garlands. And this is why we're talking about it, because it would be really, really funny to just put images up of all these different, slightly weird things. But you obviously can't hear that if you're only listening to us, so you must check us out on YouTube as well.
Absolutely. Of course, all channels, all media. That was just an example. That was just an example of. It's just incredible. It was just so much fun. I've made friends there. Yes. And it's free to go, so basically anyone can go. It's a secret. Just go on the website to the NFE, National Funeral Exhibition. It's not on for 2 more years, but it's so much fun.
There's the secret, everyone. That is your secret information. And only on Opening Ceremony podcast would you get this kind of secret inside information. Yes. So back to business. I want everybody to know. I want everybody to know what happens next? So after this, you have this brilliant idea, sort of revelation, and you get completely from nowhere. You learn everything there is about the pH of soil, what happens to plants if you put ashes into graveyards, what happens to the grass, all the different aspects of cremation and ashes and how they work together with different types of soils. You've just put your heart and soul into researching everything, and then you've been out in the world ever since, just passionately. Listen, everyone, every weekend he's at a fair somewhere where everyone else is selling cakes. He's not actually selling people's ashes, I should point out, because you also have a second business, not yet. So let's talk a little bit about the logistics of what happens. So someone's listening to us. We're talking about ashes, seed balls, what happens, and we think we know what we're talking about, which we do. But there's people out there who are thinking, what on earth are they talking about? So how does it work? Let's say someone in my life died and or a pet, and they were cremated, and I have the ashes at home and I don't know what to do with them. And I think, oh, I heard about this thing where they make ashes into seed balls. And where can I get? What happens from the moment they call you? What happens next? I think that's quite helpful information for people.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's a great starting point or middle point. So if people have suffered a loss, they visit us, they visit the website, they come and meet me, talk to us about what they do. Oh, I think my Wi-Fi router is about to fall out the window, so you lose me. If you lose me, you know why. It's just trying to make a jump for it. Bryant Broadband, everyone, very good provider. So I meet with people, or we message online, and I find out what people are looking for. First of all, we should talk about how heavy a person's ashes are. I am continually shocked. So the average person, once they've been cremated, you receive back from your funeral director about 3 kilograms of ashes. And it's quite a tough decision, because often you've got a family and somebody wants to make it into jewellery, and we've gorgeous things like this lovely jewellery, and we met this lovely company on Isle of Wight, Remembrance Glass, who make beautiful glass products with ashes.
You showed me that. Stunning. Really lovely. Flowers from the funeral and all sorts.
Yes, acorns that are filled with anyway, absolutely beautiful ideas. But every family member or friend might have something different they want to do.
Yeah.
But lots of these options do only require a small amount of the ashes. And so, for example, we ask people for 50 grams of the ashes. And again, lots of people don't know, with Royal Mail, you actually can send ashes, but only 50 grams.
I feel like no one will know that but you.
No. So, yeah. Royal Mail, me and you and your brilliant listeners. And
yeah, they are brilliant listeners.
Yes.
You're right.
So people, and then we find out what they want. We've recently relaunched all these different flower varieties, because people all over the country, we get lots of orders from Dundee up in Scotland for reasons. Yes, reasons unknown. Probably maybe 50% of my orders Dundee. So people of Dundee, thank you. And how on earth are you finding out about it? Because I've got no idea.
Literally, all I know about Dundee is cake.
Yes, and fabulous floral memorial flowers. I will answer your question eventually. I find out about the person, what they want, where they want to plant them, and we've now got. Well, we always start with the classic wildflower mix. 27 varieties that are really designed to grow anywhere. And wildflowers, they don't need fancy soil. Chuck them and water them, basically. That's really all you need to do. But we're down here in Worthing with lots of chalk. Some people have got clay. Some people have got very shady gardens. So we've now developed varieties of wildflowers for all those different conditions. And also, this kind of harks back to what I was saying at the start. I've got a balcony. Where would I grow wildflowers? But we've developed a bespoke mix that we've created of shorter wildflower varieties. So for somebody like me, as I said, I don't have Lucy's ashes because I said to the vet, send her for group cremation because I didn't know what else to do. But by the time that we lost my brother, I was doing this and I knew what to do. And lots of people just have a little planter or a little box on their windowsill. So we developed this mix. So my brother is happily growing on my balcony, getting all the south-facing sun from the sunny south coast, and so it's really an option for everyone. So we talk about what sort of seeds you want, and then we find out where you want to scatter them and how many you'd like. And then the question is, and this is where actually I'm going to release to you, Jess, a secret product that's about to be released. So people we can make seed balls for them. So people place the order on the website or through me. I then send them a postal pack for them to send the ashes with, no mess, no fuss. They send the ashes to me. And then I'll make the seed balls, and then I give it my immediate attention, and then within 7 to 14 days you'll have all your seed balls back with instructions ready to plant in the garden.
That's so brilliant.
And then usually people order one bag for each family member. So if you've got siblings, mum, dad can each have their own bag of seed balls to plant in their garden. And if you're in a flat and you don't think you'll stay there forever, we can make the short varieties for you, and then you can take them with you if you move.
I mean, you've really thought of everything, because that's true. People, especially if they rent, have to move, as we know, every 5 minutes. And
that brings me on to what we've just started to launch.
Drum roll.
So something we found when we lost my brother, my family came around and we made the seed balls together. And that is something I have not been able to offer to clients. But we're about to release a make your own wildflower memorial seed ball kit. So families can purchase that on the website for a lot less money than me making them. I send you the kit, then you as a family can make the seed balls together. It was incredible. My mum and I we stood there, we mixed Andrew's ashes with the seed balls, with the seeds, made the seed balls, talked about him, but people can now buy the kits and then make the seed balls themselves and make their own wildflowers, their own seed balls, and then plant them in the garden.
That is fantastic.
That's coming so soon. As soon as I can remember where the button is to add its products to the website, they will be live.
That is brilliant. And what about this other secret business venture that you've got coming up?
Yes, so don't tell anyone. Okay. But Ashes to Bloom started out as for people and pets. I came up with that little title myself. But then all the marketing experts, and I'm sure they're right, said, got to separate out people and pets, because not everyone loves animals and will think it's distasteful to deal with them together, treat them as equal.
Yeah.
And I'm a total animal lover, so, for me, no difference.
Me too.
Everyone's totally different, and so I totally get that.
None of my listeners, though, all of my listeners love animals. I know it.
Okay, yeah. But still, I can understand it. So I removed all references to pets. So Ashes to Blooms is purely for people. But we're just now busily working on the website for petsashestobblooms.com. A catchy and original, but it does what it says.
Yeah.
Because as absolute, I'm so excited about it, I can barely even string the words together. As I live for animals. This is my stag.
And it all goes, the stag behind you. So people who can't see this, there's a stag painting, a blue stag with a yellow background, maybe from Dundee. But also, it all goes back to Lucy, doesn't it? It all comes back. I love that it's coming right the way back to Lucy.
Yeah.
Your first passion, really, for the business.
Absolutely. It's gone full circle. So we've gone right back to Pet Ashes, helping people who've lost their pet animal companion. So I kind of owe this journey on. It's all to Lucy. She gave me so much in life. I've lost her now, and this is why when you lose people or your pet, you're left with the memories, and they're never really gone, because I feel like the life I'm living now is because of Lucy and that love that we had, and that sounds a bit creepy, but only like normal love. And she was just a brilliant companion, and she kept me in line, and she was the boss. And even now I've lost her, like her influence is all around me, and I'm living my life through her influence. So
it's incredible,
I continue to be grateful to her.
Yeah, we're all grateful to Lucy. There are so many clients of mine who would benefit so much from your ideas. But there's also another branch to your business which isn't to do with ashes. So if you were maybe squeamish about doing actually mixing the ashes, you could
Yeah.
still have the seed balls and plant them in a memorial garden, or if with permission in a natural burial, if it's the right type of
Hmm.
flora and fauna, or you can bury them, with a grave or in your back garden. So if you feel like the mixing of the ashes is awkward, or someone, as you say, quite rightly, in families, people just can't agree. So if you find
Yeah.
that someone says, I want him to all be together, I don't want to break it up, felt a lot of people feel uncomfortable about breaking the ashes up, don't they, and
Yes.
separating them.
Yes.
So you can do it without adding the ashes, but just do it in memory, can't you?
Absolutely.
So that's
So
good.
so I found that through the business I was sort of partnering with charities and things, making seed balls with them. So there's an amazing animal charity called Good Heart Animal Sanctuaries up in, I think it's Hereford. I went up last year. Anyway, amazing people doing brilliant work looking after the animals. And obviously for us as animal people, Jess and followers, that's incredible. And we were making seed balls for them to sell on their website, as Christmas gifting things. But it was just a bit weird having ashes to balloons on a product that had no ashes in, and maybe confusing and maybe put people off. So then I decided it was time to, and there's a whole world of seed ball gifting. Through my, I still have my other day job, and through that I go to lots of corporate events, and people give away lots of plastic pens. And love a plastic pen. There can be some really cool ones, but corporate gifting is moving a lot more towards the eco-sustainable bamboo options. And so for things like that, and for wedding favours, you go to weddings and there can be quite a lot of bits you're given very kindly, but maybe you wouldn't necessarily choose them, or aren't particularly good for the planet. And the same at christenings, weddings, funerals, and in party bags. So I launched Sussex Seed Balls. So you and I are down here on the sunny Sussex coast, and I'm now creating a range of products for all those things. But really, the inspiration for it was, I love the idea of, at weddings you have favours, and similarly, I think this is growing. You know this more than me. Sort of having funeral favours, little gifts to give out to people who have attended, and something that can grow and not just be, confined to the drawer after the event. We make these little funeral favour gift boxes, which are beautiful as they are, or people can personalise them with a funny quote, or if they've got an awful picture of the person who's gone. We all love. I love taking pictures of people when they're sneezing. A picture of them
No,
sneezing.
please, you are the only
Or
person that would say that.
no, no,
No.
like we don't want the Instagram perfect pictures. And I was blinking pictures on my sequel box. A picture of me blinking because I was always blinking, or just a funny quote, or a special date, or my name, or anything, and it's totally personalised. Give them out on the day of the funeral, or if you get together on the anniversary of when you lost them, or it just gives you a chance to have another event, talking about the person, and it just gives you a keepsake and we can make the flower varieties ones that mean something to you. And then when your flowers grow in the garden, or any other place where you've got full permission to plant them, every time you see them, you'll be reminded of that person. So I
Yeah,
feel like
that's so beautiful.
I just feel like there's so much potential. There's as many options for it as there are seed varieties, and and people are constantly coming to me with new ideas that I would never have thought of. And this is kind of what you're saying about meeting great people. Clients come to me and say, "Can we do this?" Well, obviously we can, because we can do everything with seed balls and with their imagination. So I love it. It's like stretching my brain in ways I never thought it would go. So thank you to everyone we deal with, basically.
And it's all the creativity. I mean, if any of
Yes.
you out there could see the packaging and the designing and the graphics I mean, it's all just so beautiful, isn't it? And you've loved all of that, which is quite different from your day
Oh, I
job.
love it.
So you get to
Yes.
do all of the creative stuff. And I think that's been really important. And it's really important to your customers. It would be really good to put some pictures up, wouldn't it? I mean, they're all
Yes.
little boxes like match boxes, and where you open
Yes.
things out, the kits that you've got, where you open out. It's a bit hard to explain, but it's just beautiful. And quite often, people do give out packets of seeds at funerals, and this is just that really like a step up. I think next
Yes.
level, as they say. I love
And
it.
again, with those, we can do those little favour boxes again with the ashes. So if you want, when you meet up at the anniversary or whatever, if it's appropriate, you've got a small group of people who you think would appreciate them, we can create little boxes of the little favours with the ashes seed balls. So we just want everyone to have a sustainable option that, you know, that feels. I feel when I see my brother's flowers grow on my balcony, I feel like a little piece of him. He loved gardening. I feel like a little piece of him is back with us, and I just feel everyone can have that. And the seeds are nourished by the rain that we've all scurried through on the way to WH Smith's to get reasonably priced envelopes. So I don't know. I just feel like it's available to everyone now, and it's
making such a difference to the world, and you're infectious with it, and with good reason. And every single time I mention to anybody, and I give these out in my goodie bags about your work, people they're bowled over with excitement because it's what they need. It's very now. It's what people want. So I'm just going to quickly, just so people know where to find you, is Sussex Seed Balls or Ashes to Blooms, or next up, Pets Ashes to Blooms. But it's not quite up yet.
It's not quite up. But this probably won't save this video we're making. So when we're doing this again in 6 months, it will be up.
That is true.
So
we'll put it all in the notes, etc.
Yeah. And we'll do this here as well.
And do all the points. Yeah. So I'm going to ask you a few questions. I know I've asked you these before several times, but tell me what your favourite ceremony was that you've ever attended.
I won't really answer the question because I never get that far.
No, but that's fine. We do that. As part of my podcast, it should really be called Meandering Tangents. That's fine. We're happy with that.
Rambling with Jess.
Yeah.
Jess's rambling days. Anyway, okay, let's talk about that. Well, so when we lost my brother Andrew, we used a local undertaker, and they were giving us, great undertakers, but they do this day in, day out, and they're just giving us the options, that they've used before. And we were like, well, why are we going to be travelling 45 minutes across London for, a 25-minute slot in the London crematorium when, to have this service, when there's Hoxton, there's this lovely Hoxton venue just a few roads away, which is this fabulous Victorian music hall that's an amazing space, and we can just hire the space for a whole afternoon. My brother wrote TV shows. He wrote poems. He wrote novels. Why will we not have all extra time and extra space and not travel 45 minutes? They closed off Hoxton High Street, and they carried Andrew's coffin up Hoxton High Street and into this place. We had a lighting technician, a sound technician. We had the coffin in the middle of the room in this fabulous Victorian music hall, and we all read out excerpts from his poems and from different things he'd written. Or his poems and things had lots of reference to drugs and alcoholism and loads of swear words. So it was like having him back. And Mum had his amazing Doctor Who scarf draped over the coffin and his mood octopus. And afterwards, we all had drinks at the no alcohol, because lots of survivors of alcohol there, but so we had loads of amazing alcohol-free cocktails and things at the event, and we were just there to talk and reminisce for hours, and you just don't get that with a standard. So I want everyone, do what you want basically, but if you want loads of time to chat around and reminisce and do it your way and have a lighting technician doing fabulous lights, then find some just find a random venue.
That's why I'm talking about, people. That is my kind of funeral.
Yes.
That's what you can do. That's what I want everyone to
Yes.
know. I don't think they
Yeah.
realise that you can do that. I did one,
Do anything.
which was a drag act. There was a drag act, and it
Oh my
was,
God.
yeah, that was really sad. I will share that actually because it's relevant.
Yes.
Excuse me. So then there was this couple. They've been together for years. They decided to get married. They booked the wedding, and all the drag act and the food, and they had lavish curries and everything, all booked up. And then the one went down with cancer, basically, died very quickly. So Keith, I'm sharing this with permission, Keith died, and Jerry, his partner, was left with this wedding that had been planned. I did a funeral which was quite simple. I think it was during COVID. And afterwards, his sisters got in touch with me and said, look, we want to do something extra. Will you read the eulogy out at the wedding, which they had in the absence of the second groom?
Yes.
So Jerry went ahead with the whole cabaret scene and the lavish curry buffet. That was a proper Birmingham family. And champagne, balloons, all the people that they had booked, magician, they all came. And some people were quite reticent and they were a bit nervous. Is this going to be really weird or really tragic or really difficult? And I do appreciate that for those of you listening who don't live in this world, that probably sounds quite weird. But honestly, I stood at the front and I read the eulogy out and everybody loved it. And it was that post-lockdown celebratory mood where people were just reconnecting. And we were all so relieved to be there in company and drinking champagne. And then this drag artist was absolutely brilliant. It was a buoyant, joyous, wonderful occasion. And Jerry sat through the whole thing very dignified and enjoyed every single moment of it. And we had a cushion that was made with Keith's photographs all over it and embroidered and all sorts of little touches. So yeah, everyone, you can do that kind of thing. Now tell me one that was not so good. A funeral or a wedding or something else.
Well, the thing is, those just sort of blur into one another. You know, from those sort of losses, you just think more about, you know, when I think back to losing those people, I just think about the person, because the hour you spend sort of going into the grey concrete crematorium, I suppose it's just not something you want to remember, and it's just those don't really stick in my mind. I suppose the overarching feeling about those is when they don't really reflect the person who's gone. You know, we want to know that when we've gone, the way that our life is celebrated is a reflection of us. So I suppose when you go and it doesn't really feel like the person's there. Yeah. You know, when their personality doesn't shine through the choice of the celebrant, through the choice of the venue, through the choice of the music that's played and the performers perhaps that you have. Yes.
So it's when it's just really indistinct, it doesn't distinguish that person, and it's kind of irrelevant to them. It's just bland. It's just like everyone else's. Well, you have to have me and Gidda together. You'll have to have both of us, because she'll be really fed up if you have me on your own.
We need the tag team. We need the dream team, duo ladies. Yes.
Vice versa, we'll just bicker over it. So you have to have us both.
Oh, brilliant! Yes,
that will be fun. But don't die yet.
Yes. No, I'll try. I'll do my best.
And then he just found you.
I've got a lot of Seaboard work to be doing.
Yes.
At least let me get petashesblooms.com finished. And I'm no good with computers, so...
No, I can't do without you. That's not an option. Oh. So, tell me, are there any ceremonies, anything that you regret? This is quite a tricky question. People are finding it quite difficult. I might ditch it, actually. But do you regret anything about ceremonies in your own life? Or is there anything in your own life that you wish you had done or would like to do?
Well, only... So I've recently turned 40, and for a long time I was planning to do... I kept switching back and forth between going big and doing nothing.
Yeah.
And in the end, I've got a lot going on with this, and job and all what's it, and I allowed myself to be put off by a few small roadblocks. And just thought, oh, let's not do let's not do the big party for the 40th. But I should have done something big and brilliant. I'll be 50 in 9 years and 11 months.
Well, we're not
So
waiting that long.
so we can do an extra good 50th.
Oh, all right.
So yes, I think I've not been married, and it's not on the cards in the near future. So if you don't have the marriage and sort of naming ceremonies, whatnot, then you may not specifically have a reason to have a big event, a big celebration. But so yeah, when you're in my situation, I feel like, and this is obviously what I totally did not do, why not have a big thing for your 40th? Have someone there talking about you, comparing, giving a eulogy, or a living eulogy like these amazing ones you do.
Yeah.
It's talking about you. Just make it an incredible event.
Now, why should it be the only people that get to celebrate are people who are in monogamous romantic relationships? I feel quite strongly that that's really unhealthy. And I have seen one celebrant who does friendship ceremonies, and I absolutely am doing birthday ones.
That's amazing.
I know, it's really sweet,
amazing.
but it's also really relevant, isn't it? Because quite often you're much closer to your friends than your family, or your friends are the people that have kept you going through all your romantic turbulent years, or all the people that have come and gone. It's a bit like pets, isn't it? I was just thinking about one thing that you have said that you regret, and that is, and I think this is really helpful for our listeners, that when you had to unfortunately go with Lucy and have that happen, you just in the moment were offered a cremation of the pets altogether, and you actually said to me that you wished that you had known you could have her cremated just herself. Is that something that you would regret, that you would say you regret?
Absolutely. I'm sure the vet said to me, because of course they would, you can have her cremated on her own or as a group, but I can't specifically remember that, but he would have done, because he was great, and he provided great care throughout Lucy's life. But in that moment, if you haven't thought about it and you think, oh, I don't know where I would put ashes, it was very easy just to say, oh, I've got nothing to do with them, so send them for group cremation, and then they're disposed of carefully. So I think you never know when you're going to lose someone, or your pet, or anything. So just it's good to have thought about it, and that's why, the fact that we started this whole discussion with talking about the language and people being open about death and what's going to happen to us at some point, because it will happen to us all. Sort of having an idea about what people around you want, because people are open about it, and this is why, again, we often don't say to people in our lives all these things we admire about them. But if people opt for some sort of event or ceremony or living wake while they're still here, people can hear what you think about them. Whereas, we might be friends with somebody for 30 years, but of course you say, oh, I love you, or, in your birthday cards, you might say, thanks for being a great friend. But we don't really communicate, our great respect and all the things we love about people. So, but people talk about these things more.
It's so scary, isn't it? What would people say about you? People will say about me, they'll say, she always lost her keys. She could never find her keys, and she spent her whole time walking around saying, have you seen? Or something like that. What will people say about you? That might be a good question for the podcast.
That's definitely add it for next time. They also say how genuinely kind and thoughtful you are, and about how you're always coming up with new ideas and constantly pushing other people and promoting other people, and just always striving to give people sort of great, authentic, genuine send-offs and celebrations. So they're going to be saying a lot about you.
That's not bad, actually. I'm going to go with that. I'm happy with that. Yeah,
And they might even mention Julian Clary's glasses. I don't know.
they might.
Um, they would say about me, why did he ruin every bloody picture, sorry for swearing, by closing his eyes? I don't know. It's science. It's nature. I don't know.
They won't say
David
that.
ruined every picture. That is what they'll say. And
They
would
will
he not stop talking about seed balls? Like,
Well, they might say that. That I think they might say
I always get to explain, because people often don't know if they're seed balls for feeding birds or for growing wildflowers. So I should have started this whole thing with that. And they'd be like, why did you never explain what they're for? So, so many things. Yeah. And they'd be like,
the things that bother us. I think people will also say, she never shut cupboards. She was hopeless. She never shut cupboards.
You want to know? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm one of them. No.
No. Why would anyone do that?
Honestly, I don't know. I never knew I did it, but I found out. All that. Or they'll say, oh, she was always up at 3 a.m. And there was that time she went and sat in the full moon on the beach at 3 a.m. That's what they'll say. They'll say they might say all the nice things as well, but yeah, it's funny, isn't it?
Those are all great things.
I think they will say about you, you were just absolutely passionate, constantly positive. I mean, a joyous person to be around, hilariously funny, and as I have already pointed out, naughty. I think that people that loved you that will be there will know that everyone will be like, yeah, he was quite naughty in a good way.
I hope they mention naughtiness.
You're happy with that?
With you, they'll say she found these amazing Indian garlands, but never gave us the link to find them.
Okay.
That's the worst thing.
All right, now keep talking and I will find it. I keep thinking it's called black magic, but it isn't called black magic. That's just what I always think it's called. So keep talking and tell us where we can find you meanwhile.
So we are all over the social medias. So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Everyone says I've got to be on TikTok.
Yeah, you have.
But I hate. I could do this on TikTok.
Toctic. Don't be calling it Toctic. That's not it.
And obviously we've got a website, and we're in so many funeral directors now. And as you know, we might be soon to be in a big chain of unnamed funeral directors. But that's all far from certain. But yeah, the social medias. Occasionally, I'll have my little stand down on the beach, so I'll be there, like trying to. Oh, I think there's rain coming in my window. I'll be like trying to hold on to my flyers as they blow off down the beach. But they're recycled flyers, so at least if they get eaten by a turtle, I think it's less bad.
Do we have turtles in Worthing?
Oh, I've not seen any, but that's. I saw
a dolphin. I saw a dolphin in Brighton, not walking around, obviously, but right. I have it. This is where I get my garlands from. People, listen up. Blackout in the lanes. It's blackout, not black magic, but black magic's better, I think. Anyway, blackout. You can find all kinds of goodies, brilliant goodies, and really, really kitsch things. You know what I mean, like Madonna. Candles shaped like the Madonna or Jesus, and you've got everything. Beautiful enamel wear. I mean, I'm not here to promote blackout, but anyway. But as you said, I'm quite good at promoting people, and they are brilliant.
If after this they don't agree to give you a commission, we can just can you like bleep out the name?
Yeah, and they can sponsor me, like garland sponsors.
Yes, every time you do this, it'll be like different amazing stuff.
I did a funeral once where they did have garlands everywhere. They went to a festival space, an outdoor festival space, and they had garlands everywhere. It was really nice. Right, last question.
Yeah.
And we've done well, 45 minutes on the nail. So we didn't divert ourselves too much.
You don't know how long my next answer is going to be. So but anyway, true. Yes, I'll
Could go on.
I'm saving. I've got a whopper for you.
Well, it's a good question. What makes you hopeful for human beings, in a nutshell? Because that's not a big question at all.
I just think everyone you meet, like you said, on the street, I look dull. Like dull Dave, and I do have big dull aspects. Like I like sitting in my flat making seed balls, so I totally get that. But everyone you talk to, they've always got interesting, mad thoughts, hopes, dreams, ideas, and Ashes to Blooms. I'm not an ideas person. I don't have ideas. Ashes to Blooms is my idea for life. So don't expect any more. There'll be no other like ideas after this.
I
But
don't
everyone
believe
talks to you,
that.
they just people have always just got crazy interesting, and you think people a bit like say don't walk a mile in my sandals, blah, or whatever the thing is. People have always gone through crazy, awful things, or have lived in Bali, or have got great ideas, or their dad was John Lennon, or I don't know if he had any children or anything.
They have always
Everyone
lived in
talks to you.
Bali. That might be a Brighton thing, though.
Yeah,
But they have all lived in
people in
Bali.
Worthing.
Or they're on their
That is
way to Bali.
that is not that is not a Brighton one. That's not a Worthing one. I don't think many people in Brighton have lived in
Or
Bali.
Nepal's another.
Oh yes,
And
absolutely.
Vietnam.
Yeah, but all those amazing places. I just think people have always just got I'm endlessly shocked, and through this because I'm a home person. I'm like sociable in bursts, and then my battery is dead, and I have to go and like lie on my sofa for a week.
I'm
'cause my
secretly
battery.
the same. I don't seem like
No,
it, but I am. I've only
no,
just realised it. So you're a bit
don't
of a
believe it.
domestic dull Dave on top of everything.
Yeah,
You know what
absolutely.
you must call yourself? Not dull Dave. I heard this brilliant expression from Robert
Yeah.
Peston last night on the...
Oh
Because
yes.
we are recording the day after the election, people, in
Yes.
the UK. So we are July 2024. There's been a big major event here. We've changed government. But my favourite thing, my takeaway, was Robert Peston saying about politicians in the UK. And he said, we're all a bit male, pale and stale. And I thought...
Male, pale and stable.
That's right.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's brilliant. But I don't think you're male.
That's great.
You are male and you are pale, as far as I'm aware, but you
Yes.
are not stale. We're not going with
Not
stale.
yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. No. I just think everyone's got so much going on, so much interest, wild stories.
Yeah.
I just think yes, and new ideas everywhere. Everyone, especially going to things like the amazing NFE that was free to go to up in Birmingham. That was the funeral conference. Oh, sorry, I was just thinking about the free notepads again. So I've lost my train of thought. But
I love a free
yes.
notepad, do you?
Oh God, yes. Oh, and there were things like there was a law firm giving out these little kits that had a Kit Kat, not vegan though, and like tea bags and
Did you
stuff in.
sneakily eat it?
No, I didn't, but I gave them to my parents because I didn't want them to miss out. And like little house-shaped tape measures for when you're buying a house. Anyway,
Can you even believe, listeners, how much fun this guy is and how much I love him? Notebook, a little bit of a notebook diversion. Those of you who can't see, I'm sorry, because you need to see. This is my on-brand notebook. It's embroidered. Look at it.
Oh yeah, that's amazing.
Not that I like patterns and garish colours.
Oh no.
Anyway, we should wrap up because otherwise we will be here all day just chatting joyously about ashes, dead people and peculiar things, which is probably what my listeners are looking for.
Well, yes.
I mean,
and
I have academics as well. Pardon?
Oh, okay. And given that this one's safe, so we're doing this in about 5 minutes again.
Yeah.
We need to get ready for our re-record.
Well,
I'm reading my hair. Flat today, sorry.
Right. Okay, everyone. This is who you need. So look up Sussex seed balls.
Links going to be here.
Links to be here, and here. Sussex seed balls and Ashes to Blooms, and he's based down here in Worthing, and obviously an absolute joy. And I would say pretty much any craft fair, gift fair, local church fair, anything in the south of England at least, every weekend, you're always going to find him. You're just everywhere with this, aren't you?
Absolutely.
So keep an eye on.
Can't get enough of talking to people about my
Well, I can't get enough either. Right, so thank you everybody, and we'll put everything in the show notes, and hopefully this is recorded once and for all and we don't have to do it again.
Oh please.